Hey guys, welcome to the video on Bitcoin. This is April 29th. It's about 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We still have a couple hours before the daily closure here. I want to take a look at all of this crazy price action today. But before I get into this, of course, this is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. I'm giving my opinion on the market, and you're responsible for your own trades, managing your own risk, doing your own research. So let's go ahead and take a look at the charts here. I have made a little bit of a change to the chart. What I think is actually happening here, I actually don't think that we've finished putting in our first wave. I've got my first wave all the way out there because I think, although I do believe that we are going to see prices down in the $5,000 to $6,000 range, right? I do think that is going to happen still, but I think we're probably going to make a push up for 10,000 first. Okay, so we know that we have a CME gap that is, right in this area right over here. So, we would expect this to go up a little bit more. I do think that it probably is going to make a raid for 10K again, right? Now, right now, we are currently trading at about 87.75. So, do you buy here? Well, that's your call. I would be more inclined to buy the pullback because I think we are going to pull back. Now, this pullback that we're going to get, I don't think it's going to be the one that takes us down to 6K. Okay, so let's just be honest here. It's probably not going to be the one to go to 6K. If anything, I think this pullback is probably going to take us right here to about 7,800. Okay, this is where I'd expect to see a pullback and then a follow through to the upside to 10K. So let's go ahead and just take a look at this a little bit closer. Okay, I'm going to get rid of my indicators because, well, one, we can see, even if I go to the hourly, let's just take a look at this before we completely get away from this. We can see lots of volume, right? Increasing volume all the way up to the top. We see the 1 hour, the 3 hour, and the 12 hour all in overbought conditions. So I do believe we are going to get a pullback here and pullback potentially to 7,800 to 8,000. I think that'll probably happen. We'll see what happens at 8,400. 8,400 is another area which is a fib level that I'm paying attention to. But nonetheless, I do think we are going to pull back somewhere inside of this range, and I'd be interested in buying down here in this range. So, but the question is, all right, so how high are we going to go? So we talked yesterday about our counts. So let me just go all the way back here. We were talking about our 1, A, B, C into the 2. Let me just go ahead and mark this off here, right? So from up here, we have an A, B, an expanded flat, and then a C all the way down here on a lower degree. Okay, so I feel comfortable about this. Okay, then what do we have? We have a 1, 2, 3, A, B, C into the 4, and then we go into the 5. Only thing I don't like is the amount of time it took for us to complete this fifth wave here. It took a while for this to be completed. But what I can see is also right here, we have an A, a B, and then a C. So we've got just a regular flat here from what I can tell. So this is the one that makes the most sense, okay? So we've got our 1, A, B, C into the 2, and then we have 5 waves, A, B, C, and then up here to complete our third wave. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, the only thing I don't like about this is the amount of time it takes for us to complete it. All right, 3, and then we have an A, B, C into the 4, and let's take a look at what we've got going on right here. Okay, this is the kicker. Originally, my plan was for this to be, from the 3, an A, a B, and a C, but we have gone way too high. We've gone way too high here, in my opinion, okay? I do not see this as an expanded flat anymore. I actually see us working on the fifth wave, okay? So I do see us working on the fifth wave, and I think we just completed the third of the fifth, okay? So from here, I can count a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, A, B, C here. All right, then I see a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5. To complete this third, we come down for the fourth, and we're going to work on the fifth. Now let's just take a look at this here for a moment. This right here, this is our 4. Okay, we had a little bit of a wedge here going on for the 4. It seemed to work out pretty well. So on a lower degree, again, what I see here is a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and then we go for an extended fifth. All right, and this is going to obviously be on a lower degree. Change the color on this guy. Okay, so that's going to be our 3. Now, what I'm not sure just quite yet is if this is actually done, because as you can see right now, we're currently trying to push up a little bit more, back up to 88, 88.35. I would say as long as we don't overtake 9,000, we're going to probably come back down for the 4. It could take some time. It could happen really fast. Okay, one thing that I have seen happen is for us to come up here and then we kind of hang out and then we fall real fast. Just as fast as we went up is as fast as we're going to go down. But what you have to pay attention to is where we broke out from, okay? So we go up and we start to move down. If you're going to short up here, you need to get out down here, which is going to be, right on the other side of 8,000. At least cover some of it, okay? Let's also take a look. If this is a 3 and we're going into a 4, again, so from here we've got a 1, we've got a 2, a 3, we should be coming down to the 382. This is going to take us down to about 8,100, okay? And then our fifth wave target is 9,500. This seems pretty logical, It could be that we get an extension. It could be we get an extension to take ourselves all the way up to 10K. But let's just go ahead and target 9,500 for right now, which would complete the 5-wave structure, which would complete our first wave. Okay. Now, one thing I don't want to get caught up in is the fact that we are way overbought right now. Okay, which is why I'm going to give this time to breathe, okay? Because yeah, it's possible that this just keeps on going, but what I can see here, and I'm on an hourly chart, right? So if you've been around, if you've been watching me or paying attention to me for any amount of time, you know I keep paying attention to the 1 hour, the 3 hour, and the 12 hour, okay? We're sitting up here at 88.38. We've got the 1 hour, which has crossed. The 3 hour, let's see, let me just pull up the algo here for a moment. The 3 hour has not crossed down yet. The 1 hour has, right? But the 3 hour has not. The 3 hour is still bullish, okay? The 12 hour is still bullish. The only thing that's crossed is the 1 hour, right? So the 1 hour crossing would be like, okay, well, if you're in a long position, you could probably take some profit here. But the 3 hour is still bullish. So again, this could keep going up, right? And again, just my opinion on this, but I think that if we continue to close hourly candles below 88.31, and the only reason why I say 88.31 is, I'm just going to kind of zoom in on this here. All right, so let's just take a look at today. All right, this candle right here, we topped out right there. So if we keep closing below that, and that's 88.38.50, and we're pretty close there right now, but we've got 21 minutes left in this. If we continue closing below that, then I do think we're going to pivot and potentially start to trend down a little bit. But if we overtake this, right, at just this one level right here, I think there's potential that we do see higher prices. Okay, so we did see a little bit of a red candle, but it did not engulf the previous candle, which means that there are still bulls in control. The next candle took us up, and then this candle that we're currently in is taking us up even higher. So it's very tough to call a top, and I'm not about to do that. I'm not going to say, oh, this is the top, you should short, you should sell. I don't really like doing that anyway. But I do think that we're close to the top from a technical standpoint. I do think that this is favorable for selling and not buying. Now, if tomorrow we hit 10,000, if tomorrow we hit 12,000, that's a different story. I don't think we will, though. I don't think that's in the cards right now. But I think the best risk to reward is to be shorting in this range and doing a stop loss really on an hourly closure above 88.35. We're at 88.25 right now. Okay, short at 88.25, stop loss on an hourly closure That's important. An hourly closure above 88.35. If you want to give yourself a little bit of leeway on an hourly closure, it means you're going to have to do a manual stop, right? I'm not talking about setting a stop loss at 88.50. I'm saying a manual stop on an hourly closure above 88.50 if you want to give yourself a little bit of leeway. The reason why it's a manual closure is because you want the candle to close above. It could wick up there, that's fine. But if the candle closes above, that's one thing. If you want to set a hard stop loss, you're going to want to do a stop loss right at the other side of this high up here. Okay, that's going to be at about 89.75. Set a stop loss there, 89.75. It is very, very possible that we do try and close the CME gap, which is probably going to take us just a little over 9,000. It could take us all the way up to about 9,100. Okay, so that's a risk that you will have to determine whether or not you are willing to take to short here. Again, we are tentatively calling this an extended fifth for to complete this third wave, which means we should go down to the 382, which is going to be at about 8,100. Okay, very, very unlikely it comes back to the 50. Wave 4 sometimes does come back to the 50, but more often than not it'll come back to the 382. So if you short, be ready to close out of that somewhere around 81.25. And then as far as an upside target goes, we already talked about that. Look for about 9,500. If this does happen to make its way up to about 9,100, right? If this makes its way up to 9,100, you're going to be looking to get out of that long at about 96.75, and you're going to be looking to get out of any short that you may be in now at about 8,200. The higher this goes, the more you're going to have to adjust this, okay? So if we go all the way up to say 9,500, well then our target to the downside short term is you're going to be sitting right here at about 8,400. What we're tentatively saying is that we're going to be topping out here 89.75, and we're going to be coming down to about 81.25, somewhere in that range, okay? And then for upside going up to 9,500. That is going to be what I'm currently expecting to happen, okay? So again, let's just outline this real quick, what this could look like. So we're already seeing an A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C, and then from down here, we're going to be looking for a 1, 2, 3 to make a higher high, 4, and then 5 to take us right up there. I'm going to have the timing on this completely off, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? But if we are still bullish, this is more than likely what's going to happen. I'm honestly, I'm surprised that we went as high as we did. Right, I am surprised that we went as high as we did. Let me just clean this up here, go to a 3-hour and get rid of our indicator, right? But if this is going to be our new count, this is even going to make some adjustments to our insured model. This is going to be the one up here. Then we're going to be looking for a bigger wave 2 to the downside. Now, if we get up to 9,500, how far are we going to go down? Well, assuming that this technical pivot down here holds, and it should, and we do go all the way up to this target up here, we're still looking at the 618 down here at 58.50, okay? This is still completely valid that this works to the downside up here at 5,800. 65.50 is the 50%. So very likely this does make its way over time. Now, I don't expect this to happen in May. I think this will probably end up happening in late May. Well, actually, this is right here. We have it all the way out to May 24th, so possible May. I do expect the end of May and the beginning of June to be somewhat bullish. But we'll take that with a grain of salt and kind of trade the charts as we get closer to it. You know, we broke through the 618 linear resistance just recently, and we're looking like we do want to make a move up to 9,500. We do want to break through 9,000 is what it looks like. I think we just need to let it breathe, let it sit, watch the indicators. Okay, right now everything is overbought, and that doesn't mean that the price has to go down. Okay, so just a common misconception that just because things are overbought that the price has to stall and go down. That's not necessarily the case. It's just the probability. The probability is that when something is overbought that the price will retreat. The probability is when the price is oversold that the price will go up. Let me just give you a really quick example here. Okay, so right here everything was oversold and the price went up. Right here, the price was oversold and the price went up. Right here, the price was overbought, and the price went sideways, but eventually went down. The price was oversold, the price went up. Right here, the price was oversold again, and the price went up. Okay, and then right here, oversold, the price went up. Right here, overbought, and the price didn't go down immediately. It actually went up a little bit. So this is just my point that it doesn't always go in the direction that we expect, but the probability is that it will. Okay. So, another bad example is right here. Things were overbought and the price shot up. And then right here, everything was overbought and the price went sideways and then eventually went up more. Okay, so the trend is still our friend. The 12-hour was crossed up here and the trend was bullish. The 12-hour hasn't crossed bearish yet, which is why I am cautious. Same thing with the stock market. I'm sorry, I'm going on. I've been going on for 16 minutes. I'm going to say one last thing. One of the reasons why I have not shorted the stock market is because, well, one, I've got burned trying like a week ago or so. Had some good plays, but trying to get some long-term short positions on the stock market just hasn't really worked out. And I think several others are also experiencing the same. It's better for you to wait for the trend to start moving than it is to try and catch the top. Okay, so like right here on Bitcoin, if this thing finally does make a significant pullback, I'll short the retrace and pull that back to about 81.25. But I'm not interested in trying to short here anymore. Like I've sold a lot of my alts. Okay, I still have a couple that I'm holding, right? But I've sold a lot of them, and I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna wait and see for this when this comes back, because it's gonna pull back, right? It is going to pull back. We'll probably have a significant pullback event after the halving. It's very, very possible that it happens before. Okay, so if you are in from down here, we were talking about buying at 4,500. We were talking about buying at 5,000, right? So if you're in from down here, I mean, shoot, good job, guys, right? Because we're up almost 100% since then. But anyway, point being, I think we're going to breathe, and I think we're probably going to make another push up. We're potentially going to be looking for 9,500. It may or may not get up to 10,000. We're just going to have to wait and see what happens. But I am expecting this to be a 1, 2, and then we've got a 1, 2, 3. Actually, this doesn't resolve really well here. I'm going to have to go back and take another look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I suppose it does. It does work itself out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I still don't like it. I don't like this 3 wave here. I don't like the way that it looks. I would have preferred for this to be the 3 over here, right? It would have made sense for this to be the 3 here, which is what we originally had, and this ABC into the 4, and that be the first wave, and we have the expanded flat scenario. It just doesn't feel right anymore. I feel like we are going to be trying to make another push up to 9,500. I think we're going to pull back before we make a run for 95, but I think that we are eventually going to try and get up there. But again, I wouldn't be buying here. We're trying to push up above that 80. That 88.50 that we were talking about just a minute ago. So we're just going to have to wait. We're going to have to wait and see. If you've already cashed out, then you've already cashed out. I wouldn't be buying here. I still would be waiting for the pullback. You're going to have to exercise some patience and just wait. Don't FOMO into a trade. Especially when the indicators look so bad. If you're on the server and you've been watching any of my stock scans, you know how I quickly go from one thing to another. And this is no different. This is not something that I would be buying. If I was scrolling through assets and I saw this, not knowing it was Bitcoin, I would not buy this. Okay, just my opinion. Just my opinion. All right, guys. I'm going to go ahead and let you go. But if you do have any questions or anything, pop in the Discord and ask away. If you don't have an invite to the Discord, just throw in a comment here in the YouTube chat. I'll be more than happy to get an invite code out to you. And wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a good day, good night, good evening.